I'm going to show you one more thing. Down here, I drilled these holes, right? So I wanted extra airflow through my helmet, which is why I did the teeth, and then I did these holes because it gets really hot in the helmets and they fog up and steam up. I'll put fans in it too. I'll show you guys that later. But I just wanted some extra vent holes. So I put those holes right there, and I made some little covers for them. So I made these, and I got a picture of this too that I can show you. Can you get it? Right? So this is a sink faucet that I just bought at the local hardware store, and I didn't use any of the internal diffusers that it comes with. It comes with these diffusers and the seals that go in there, but I did put those in. I just used one piece that holds it in there, glued them in, and these will fit right over those holes, just like that. Can you see that, Star? So these will fit right over, just like that. And because it's a sink faucet and that's just grated, I'll get a little bit of extra airflow through that. And then I weathered them. I sanded them down, scuffed them up because they come chrome, and sprayed them with a little bit of primer and gray paint to get like a nice little weathered look, and then scratched that up a little bit so that they look worn and used and stuff and everything. So I think this little black ring was white. I did that with a Sharpie. But there's those for those holes. And then over here in this bag, I have my rangefinder that I still have to work on and put together. But when you're all done, here's your rangefinder. Will be sitting right here. Right? It's your normal rangefinder. Still have to I got all the pieces I got to put together, but first thing I got to do is drill the hole for it. So this is going to have to mount right here. And I got all the hardware for it. So I'm just going to take this out, take my calipers, see how big of a hole I need to drill. Okay, so this has to go on the inside. This will go through here and protrude out this. So this diameter right here, I'm going to need a screw for it. And I'm just going to get this out. I probably overkill stuff a little bit, but what can I say? So I'm just going to measure this. It's 0.200, perfect. Okay, so I'll just find a drill that'll cover that. And then we'll drill that hole up. Alright? Okay, cut. Alright, so we're back, and I have my drill here. And we got it loaded up with the drill bit for the size that we measured for the hole that we need. And then we're just going to go ahead now and mock up this piece here, try and find the center, and get that hole all drilled up and measured out. Alright, so I got the drill here and starting to line up this hole, and then I realized, I don't think I want to drill the big hole first, so I'm going to go ahead and put a smaller drill bit in here, and I'm going to start with a more precise, smaller pilot hole before we make the final size hole. Alright, so we've got the
pilot hole drill bit in here, and let's drill this pilot hole up real quick. And that looks good, so we're going to go ahead and move over to the full size. So we got the full size bit here, and we will upsize this hole to the final size. And now we got that done. Let's see if we can't fit it here a little bit, line it up with the piece, and then we've got our screw end here that we're just going to try and fit in here. And it's not quite fitting right, it's a little bit tight, so we're going to try and ream this hole out a little bit with the drill bit, and we'll try it again. Still needs a little bit more fitting, so I'm going to pull out my files here, and I'm going to find a round one that I have in here, and we're just going to sand out this hole and keep fitting this in until it fits. And then once we get a good fit, then we will go ahead and mock up the rest of the rangefinder. So you can see there it fit. So let's put it all together now and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so now we're just going to prep it for paint. I'm taking the 220 grit sanding sponge here. I'm finding spots that aren't quite smooth enough to my liking and sanding them down, and making sure that I do have my respirator on, making sure that everything is straight, everything is nice. Randomly cleaning my sponges out with the vacuum. I'm going between the 220 sponge, which is the beige one, and then the darker purple one is an 80 grit for rougher edges that I want to clean up. And then I'm just getting this all cleaned up, and then we'll take it over to the sink here and give it a nice little wash and get it all set up for paint. So I'm just going to go through here with the sink, the shop sink, and we're going to go and rinse off all the fine dust that I have on here, make sure it's all nice and clean before we get it all painted up. So we'll just go through that. Alright, so we got it all washed off. We're setting it here on the towel. You can see it's a little bit wet. We'll just let it dry overnight before we start painting it up. Alright, so now here we go. We've got it all dried off. I've got the white Krylon paint there for it, and we're just going to go ahead and put a coat of white on here. And this is the only coat of white I'm going to bore you guys with watching. I painted it and sanded it several times. I lost track of how many coats I did with all the runs that are on it. I'm not an expert spray painter. This was the most tedious part of the whole thing. It probably took me several attempts to get the paint the way I wanted it, but there's just a brief example. If you have a better way to spray paint it, please, by all means, do it. I am not the pro at that. But anyways, hit subscribe, check out some of the other videos. I got a whole series on the DC-17 blasters that I made, and there's more to come on the helmet, plus the previous ones on the helmet to watch. Alright, thanks a lot guys, enjoy!